Hi, I'm Rob Monath, a copyright and trademark lawyer in Raleigh, North Carolina. I wanted to present with a good client of mine, Evan Carroll, on the subject of sourcing public domain materials and understanding fair use principles for purposes of content marketing. Basically, what I found representing a number of publishers and content marketers is that very often, particularly if you're on a shoestring budget, you're going to be looking for materials that you don't have to pay significant clearance fees for. Ideally, if you can find content that is free or practically free, it can work out very well in terms of the overall constraints of a given project. At the same time, you have to be very mindful not to incorporate materials that do carry copyright or trademark restrictions, as in essence you'll be sowing the seeds of your own destruction in a sense if you embed them into your content, and especially if the content goes viral. So the big focus of this session, and hopefully the takeaways, will be learning how to source public domain materials, and there are very simple specific rules of thumb that you can apply for determining, particularly by date, whether or not material is in the public domain or not. Learning a series of simple questions. There are really three simple questions that you typically need to ask yourself before you use materials that have been published by a third party. This is sort of a shortcut way of engaging in a fair use analysis. And finally, there are all kinds of sort of thinking outside of the bone approaches that you can take to obtaining content, such as insourcing within your organization, in other words, using people who work for you or with you to develop materials so that they're already cleared and there are no third-party clearance issues, or sometimes partnering up with people who can provide you with materials and you can cross-license them back. For example, very often musicians are very amenable to providing music for various productions in exchange for their ability to use the video content that you're creating for their promotional purposes. And then finally, there are some platforms for content that's sort of pledged into the public domain or with limited restrictions, such as the Creative Commons. And this session will talk about how to work in a commons environment and ways in which you can be sure, if you do incorporate materials from the Creative Commons, that you're not going to run into problems down the road. So that's it in a nutshell. Evan, I don't have Evan on my video, but I'm sending you a link. He is a frequent speaker, and you'll have a video of him speaking as well. But the thought is that we would talk about ways in which Evan and I work together, and through our dialogue provide specific illustrations for content marketers. Thank you again.